If you're looking for an Airtable alternative right now, I'm going to show you what I think is easily the best Airtable alternative out there. And you're not just going to be getting somewhere near Airtable, you're going to get a product that is a far better database and just a far better product overall. It's called Coda. Come look at it with me now. I'll show you exactly how to migrate your bases from Airtable and start leveraging Coda's power to take your bases way farther than what you could ever do with Airtable. First work that we're gonna have to do is migrate our data over. This is actually gonna be extremely easy with Coda's native Airtable base importer. So here I've got the base that I want to import. This is a simple project management, right? I've got my projects. Each project has multiple tasks that they're linked to. We've got some roll-ups, we've got some status columns, we've got a Kanban board showing our different projects as well. So what we're gonna do to start importing is start a new Coda doc. What you're gonna do for that is you're gonna go into a new browser, type in coda.new. You can also start new docs from your workspace as normal, but that's a fun shortcut that gets you to a brand new Coda document. A Coda document is the same as a base. So right inside of your Airtable workspace, you can have multiple bases, as many bases as you want. Coda's equivalent is a document. So here I am in a new document, and what I'm gonna do is I am going to come down here and use a / command and just start typing import. You'll see that there is a Airtable importer here. What you'll do is you'll connect your account first. You'll do add new account, and from there it should open up this Airtable. You're gonna log in with your normal credentials. I'm gonna give it access to my project management base because this is the one I want to import. And all you're gonna do is press grant access. Should take a second. Once you do though, you're gonna see this showing you the different bases that you have that you can put in. I'm going to import that base specifically. It's showing me that I have my projects that comes with both the projects and a Kanban. So notice that it's also catching the views you have as well as the tasks and the grid view there. From there, I'm just going to press import and we'll see what happens. Note that this is in beta, so there might be things that we need to select. There's also, due to limitations, we're unable to import interfaces or settings such as filters, sortings, and formulas. Luckily, I'm going to show you how to use these in Coda and how they're actually way easier to use and actually a lot more powerful and flexible than what Airtable has. So let's go show me and let's see what happened to our doc here. So if I unroll this side, I'll see that I have pages. This is similar to at the top of our Airtable base. You know, you have these projects and tasks. They're kind of these separate areas. These are confined though in Airtable to a single table. In Coda, we have, where do we start at? Here we go. We have pages. So you'll note that here with projects, I have my projects, I have the note column. I'm just gonna unwrap that for a second so it becomes a little smaller. Here's all my tasks. This is that linked relation field. We're gonna unwrap that. We're gonna delete these because these were supposed to be formulas and they didn't come in quite right, but I'll show you how to recreate those. Let's delete that as well and delete. All right, so from here, I now have my projects. You'll notice that the statuses came in nicely, my priorities came in really nicely, as well as my due dates, as well as my tasks. So you'll see here, also my Kanban board came in. This is awesome, look at that. So Kanban board came in. This came in almost as a Kanban. If I wanna turn this into a real Kanban, I'll go over the table options and we'll actually go to more and press board. All right, so there we go. Now we have a board. It looks just like our Airtable. So we have let's give it a little icon, a fun little icon. Here we go, board. So now I have my projects and I have these two different views. I've also got my tasks. We'll see that all these tasks came in as well. All right, so that's migration. Easy as just a click and just cleaning up a few things. All right, now that our migration is complete, I'm gonna show you the next thing, which are views. So in Airtable, right, you're used to having all of these different pieces down here, such as grids, forms, calendars, galleries, Kanbans, right? They're different ways to show one table. Let's see how we're gonna mimic that in Coda and see if there's any different options as well. So let's say I come to this task table, right? This is a table. In Coda, we call them tables. And I'm just gonna first unwrap it to make it a little bit smaller. But what we're able to do now is show these as options. But maybe we don't wanna change this one from what it is. So what I'm gonna do instead is I'm gonna make a new view. There's a couple ways we can make a view of this. One, we can go create a view, and it's gonna create a new view. Other thing, we can create a brand new page, and maybe we wanna call this the task calendar, right? So let's call that calendar. What we're gonna do now is come down here, and you're actually gonna throw in a table. It's gonna ask you if you wanna start blank or if you wanna connect it to a table. We're obviously gonna connect it, right? Because we want a view of the same table. So I'll take my task table. Now that I have this, I'm gonna rename this calendar. And we'll go to options. So that's how you open up this options. And from there, you have these different options. You've got a table, cards, detail, calendar, and more. Form, timeline, chart, word cloud, and a board. But let's do a calendar and see what happens. When we turn that into a calendar, you'll see that we got some stuff going on. Maybe it doesn't look exactly like what we want. What we do want is to go into the display, and now you can choose a start and an end date column or a duration column as well. I'm just gonna say none because I just wanna hold the due dates of these tasks where they are well due. From here, you can also choose many things for your calendar, like choosing a week default, right? A day default, a month default, when your dates are, or other things as well. The other thing we can do instead of creating a net new one is, and this is nice with Coda, right? We can actually have our projects above here. So let's say on this same thing, we wanna have a projects calendar. I can go to projects, pull in my projects table right away, and I can turn this into cards. Now I have my projects up here and my calendar right below it, all in the same space. So those are the two different ways you can create different types of views from your tables, either by starting a new page and inserting it, or going to a current table and just selecting options and changing its type. All right, so linked records are one of our most important things in Airtable. Coda is gonna handle them in a very similar way, but with a lot of extra features that's gonna be available to you too. I think you're gonna love these in Coda. So here we are with our linked records in Airtable, right? You've got your options to allow linking to multiple, only individuals. You can add descriptions. You can actually limit it to certain views or filters. You're gonna find very similar stuff in Coda. So let's go look at those now. When we head into Coda, here we got our projects, and you'll see that I already have one set up that it imported for us. In Coda, we call them relations, okay? Relations, not linked records, relations, but we're just talking that two tables are related to each other. You'll see this icon here that will show your relation type. When you're setting it, you're gonna look for that type. So let's actually go now and let's take our tasks and let's create a relation for subtasks. So we wanna create, these are our top level tasks, and we actually just wanna create subtasks for them. So what I would do to set up a new relation or a linked record would be to just start a new table. And we're gonna call that table DB, I'm gonna call that database, nah, just call it subtasks. Let's make it simpler. We're gonna name our task, and then what we're gonna do here is let's just call this a related task, right? So that's the top level. What you do here is you make this a column type, and we scroll all the way down to relation, and we choose tasks. From here, when you're in Airtable, it will automatically create that linked relation on the other table. For Coda, you decide whether or not you want that, but it's as easy as pressing that button. Once I do that, I'll go to my task table, and you'll notice I have a new column on here called subtasks, which of course pulls from my subtask table. So let's say I give these three like draft and email, and then let's say get email checked and tell boss to stop being annoying, right? So we can choose what tasks these are related for. These are searchable, just like Airtable. We can also add new ones, brand new, net new ones as well. You can also disable that feature. I'll show you that in a sec. But you can also edit them from both sides, correct, right? So I can attach a subtask to here. Let's just look at those options real fast though. So if I go back to my related task relation column, I can open up column options, and you'll find that I can allow multiple or single. I can actually have AI auto-select it for me based off its best guess. I can set a value for a new row, either statically, say, hey, every time it's a new row, do this. Or I can even set that dynamically with a formula. So I can basically say, hey, if it's Monday, set it to this. Or if the task is assigned to this individual, assign this type of task as well. You've also got your option settings below where you can sort the order they appear in or filter them so they only show certain subtasks as clickable. All right, so those are our linked relations in linked records in Coda. Remember, they're called relations, but I'm actually gonna show you right after this next piece why they're actually way more powerful and way more flexible than Airtables. Next up, what I'm going to show you are filters. And if you're coming from Airtable, I think this is one of the biggest differences you realize, but in a really positive way. There are way more options that are way more configurable and way easier for your users to use. So I have a bit more polished version of this document now, but let's say we have our team's projects here. So, and we just want to create maybe ones that are high priority, ones that are only 5 and above. What we can do is create a new page, and maybe we can call this high priority. I can't spell today, but I'm not going to worry about that. First, I'll put in a table. Actually, if you put in a normal table like this and connect it to our team's projects, it will just pull a base tables view to make this actually easier for yourself, because maybe you've configured something and you like how it looks or the orders of the column. You can actually just go ahead and copy that with your regular keyboard shortcuts to cut it, and then we'll paste it down there. So I'm going to call this high priority. And then what we're going to do is we are going to filter this. So let's go ahead and filter it. And what we're going to see is this is another filter I have that I'll show you later, but you can add filters here. We got normal filters and a filter bar. Filter bars are incredible. I'll show you them in a minute. But what we really want right now is just a normal filter, right? And we have our options. I'm going to choose priority is 5 or more, right? So now we have, I would call this a hard-coded filter, aka this is always going to show ones that are 5 or more. Something unique about Coda though is that you don't just have to hard code your filters. You can actually give easy to use ones for your users. So let's go here, and instead of that, let's say we want to do one that is interactive. You can come over a column that you're looking to filter, for example, and you can choose to add a canvas control filter above here. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to put this in a little call out just to make it nice, and you can put a little filter here. Now this is configurable by your users. As your users come here, you might want to put ones that are just due in the future in the next 365 days. Or you can do ones that are, when are these dates? Are these dates all in the past? Let's do this real fast. Let's do true. That's just gonna override that for a second so we can see them. Yeah, see, they're all in the future, which is super lame. So let's go 2023. Let's just change these real fast. All right, so those are changed now, and what we're gonna do is we are going to be able to use this now. So these are the ones in the next 365 days. We can come here and we can change this to just the next 7 days. We can change it to, future the next 30 days, or anything that we want. You can also choose, custom sets, right? A fixed date range, like just show me ones where it's between September 1st and the 16th. And that will continually update for you. The best thing about these kind of filters that you can configure for your users is you can choose a mode, personal or collaborative, meaning that you could have 18 people on this doc on this exact page at one time, and their changes wouldn't affect one another, right? So everyone could use this and configure it just to their likings to see just what matters to them. Where in Airtable, you've got to continually kind of hard code those filters over here. Another great aspect of Coda filtering is this filter bar. So I'm going to show you that right now as well. So let's just enable that first. All right, we're back. Let's delete that to show you something else. We are going to delete it, and now we've got all these back. What you'll see when I enabled filter bars is up here, these little selections started showing up. Open, project name, due date. You can choose which columns you want to include in this. So maybe I just want to include priority, not that, not the name, maybe the due date, priority, and is there a people? There is a people column. Let's do a people. And let's call that actually assignee. All right, so what you can do from here now is these are all personal as well. So what I mean by that is, again, one user's selections will not select another. So I can go priority, show me just delete where those are 5, and show me also where the due date is in the next 7 days, right? So now all of a sudden I have ones that are just really high priority this week. I could go, and make it assigned to me. Oh good, I don't have any in the next week that are super important, but maybe Younger does. Okay, so those are your different options for filtering in Coda. There are so many different things that you can do with these filters to make them really custom to your team's workflow and make it make sense for you. Oh my goodness, I totally forgot. There's one other amazing filter option that you can use for your team. So what you can do here is you'll see that I've got these assignees and different assignees across my team. I can create a filter just called My Tasks, and what this is gonna do is just the tasks where they are mine. So you'll notice that if I do all tasks page, I can put in my tasks here, and I have a whole bunch. Let's erase this filter, right? Here's all these tasks for all these different people, but you can filter tables that read the current logged in user. So you can basically say, hey, in this table, only show where the assignee is, and instead of having just like, show me just Scott, because then everyone would see Scott. Instead, we can say we're the current user. So this is really nice because I am Scott. I come to this page and I just see my own task. But if someone else comes from my team and they look at this exact same table, where they're only gonna see theirs. You can also do really fun and dynamic formulaic filters as well. So if I go to projects, you'll notice here, I see all projects, and I created this cool little toggle that says view only mine. The moment I put it on, it just pulls up Scott's related projects. And remember, these are all personally defined. So when I turn this on, that's not affecting anyone else working on this. And how I did that is with the filter, I just wrote a formula. And I said, hey, if this toggle one is on, so this is called toggle one, then show me rows where assignee is equal to the current logged in user. If not true, that's just shorthand to say, just show me everything. So that's another really, really cool filter option. Let's start looking at formulas, and we're gonna look at some things that are, I think, a lot easier than Airtable and a lot cooler. So let's get going on this. So first, in our last base, we saw that we had there it is, project management. Here we go. All right, we have a total tasks, right? We used a formula called a roll up to get that. And then we used a non-finished task. I use a formula in here. It's basically a roll up of tasks where the tags are any of these tags and then count them all, right? So I'm gonna show you how to replicate these formulas in Coda, these type of roll up type formulas and other general ones as well. So what you're gonna see here is if I go back to my table, here I have our team's projects, right? And here I have my tasks. So this is that linked relation field. I can create a new column, and let's call this total tasks. Shorthand to make a column formulaic is to hover over the column or to click the column header, make it all blue, and press the equal sign on your keyboard. Boink. That will draw open this enter a formula space. So you're gonna find that Coda has something called chaining in their formulas, which makes our ability to write formulas a lot easier and more readable. So let's do something like this. Let's just say tasks, tasks.count. So that's what I call chaining, is that you can put your formulas afterwards. So you can say task.count, right? And now if I press equal to, you're gonna see, there they are, 555. And the moment I select a new task or unselect a task, let's do that instead, you'll see that, of course, formulaically goes down. What I can do too, though, is if you're so familiar with that Airtable, you can use them in the same manner. You can say, I want to count, and you'll notice here it says a list. The list you want to count, tasks. Tasks is a list. You'll notice that with Coda 2 here, we have these chip icons. These chip icons are telling you what is the data type of this value. It's gonna help you, the more advanced you get into formulas, it's gonna help a ton, those little icons. So let's look at how we filter a roll-up like that. Let's say we want non-finished tasks. This is gonna be using a formula called filter. If you want to learn more about filter or formulas in general, the Coda School has got you. The Coda School has a deep dive into every single available Coda formula there is. But for right now, I'm going to show you one of the most important ones, and that is simply filter. So let's go in here. We're going to open up it again with our equal sign. And what we're going to say is tasks. So tasks is a list of rows. That's our list of linked relations, right? And I want to filter them, aka I only want to return certain ones. And the ones I want to return are where the status, is that what we called it? Let's go find what we called it. So if I go to my tasks, and I go to, I guess I don't have a status column. That is super silly. Okay, let's just use priority instead, priority numbers. So if I go back to projects, we're gonna go here and we're gonna come and we're gonna say filter for where priority is greater than 50. Count. So now I know all of my tasks that I have over a 50 priority. Something cool too is you don't have to make that static. For example, I can create a priority and I can create something here called a slider. And a slider I can define from 0 to 100, and I can then name this. So let's name it priority slider. And then I can actually reference that priority slider in my formula. So I can say where this is greater than priority slider. Go down, and now you'll see that this dynamically updates. It says 4 are greater, 5, 5. If I go all the way over to 79, notice it changes to 1 in real time. I can go down here as well. Notice that those change in real time. Something else we could do really cool with formulas. Right, so you can write all your normal formulas here, right? I can say like total priority. All right, with total priority, I can come here and I can say essentially tasks.priority.sum. So give me the total, or I could say average, you know, or I could say max. So those are your normal formulas like you would in a column, but you can also in Coda write formulas anywhere. So I could say something like this, hey equals pulls up our formula editor, and I can say user.name. So I can say, hey Scott Weir, you currently have, and then I can write our projects.filter for where the assignee is equal to user.count. 3 active projects, right? I can pull that out, and then I can even pull other things like our projects.count, and we can say total projects, and then we can say equals to our projects.filter for where priority is equal to 5.count, and then I can say hi projects. And Coda's got a ton of things to make this start just looking beautiful, right? Because I can take this and push it over here and push this here. I can then change this to a beautiful little call out and make that, you know, a star, and we can make this a bigger so it just shows up for your individuals with the H2, right? And then we can go total projects as well, make that nice and big. We can change this to a paragraph style of H2, and we're gonna change the color of this to yellow, right? So now I can see this, I can push this up here, and here, now I kind of have a project dashboard. So this is, I think something that is just so much better than Airtable, right? Because you have Airtable interfaces, but let's be honest, it's kind of disconnected from the product, whereas in Coda, everything, your data and your dashboards can all live in one place, right? We can just instantly take this, copy it, push it down here, paste it, show this as a chart, and all of a sudden now we can see anything we want, such as a pie chart, and we can show it by the priority. Boom, and there we go. Now all of a sudden we have our projects by priority dashboard right in line with our high level data and right in line with our configurable filters. So this is where Coda gets really fun and just honestly a lot more powerful than Airtable. Now we're gonna look at automations. They're great. Let's just hop right in. So how we're gonna access our automations inside Coda. All right, automations are incredibly important, so let's just jump right into them. So what you're gonna find is you're gonna find this little cogwheel at the top, document settings. You're gonna open it up and you're gonna scroll down to the 4th, automations. Automations, you've got some templates here, right? You can notify people, but let's just go here and start from blank, and let's maybe say notify person. And what we want to do is for this one, you'll notice that they have 4 different types when a row changes. When time-based, this is by hour, by day, by week, by month. when a form is submitted or when a webhook is invoked. Looks a little less than Airtables, but you're actually going to be able to use these conditions here to make them like Airtable has their, when a record enters a view. That's essentially when a row is changed, right? Because if a row changes, it enters an Airtable view. So we can say, hey, when a row changes, and if it matches these conditions, then trigger. So you're going to be able to mimic a lot of that exact same logic. But let's just look at it now. Let's say when a time-based, let's say every day at 9 a.m. What we're going to do here is you have all these different actions. And Packs and Coda, we haven't even gotten into this yet. There's so much that Coda can do. Coda connects with like hundreds of services. So we could actually have this every single time, Gmail, send an email to someone, or we could update something in Jira or in Salesforce, or send a Slack message, or so many other things, or make even custom API calls. So tons of options, not gonna go into right now. Let's just do a notify. You can say, hey, let's notify a specific user in our base, okay? Very simple. But what we can do with Coda is actually, instead of using this kind of drag and drop editor, everything in Coda can be turned into a formula. So you kind of have the power at your fingertips to do whatever you want. So let's go here instead, and let's do something very fun. Let's say our team's projects dot filter for where the due date is equal to today, okay? Boom, there we go. Notice that we are returning nothing. So let's go ahead and change these real fast just for the sake of showing you. Today is the 16th, and this one, let's change this one to, let's change this one to the 16th as well. All right, so now we have 2. So you'll notice if I come back in here, it's returning 2 of these. So what I'm gonna do with these now is I actually am going to loop over them. And this is where Coda's formulas are just far more powerful. So you'll need to learn some of the new things you can do. But so let's say, hey, for each of these, so for each task that is due today, I want you to do something. I want you to notify the current value, that's the current thing that's due today, .tiny. So do that, and then I want you to, the message, this is really cool, right? So we can do format, and we can say, hey, curly one, the project, curly 2 is due today. And then we can put arguments in there, so we can say current value, again, that's the current project, .assignee. Hey, blunt, the project current value .project name is due today. What else you can do with Coda formulas too, this also just shows another thing Coda can do, is you can expand this and you can auto format this. Yes, and you can even comment in this, your code. So if you're a code junkie, you're gonna love Coda formulas. So I can say first, go find all the projects due today. And then for each of those ones, for each of those projects, go and notify the person what project it is. There we go. Awesome. So that's going to be your automation, right? It's going to run every single day at 9 a.m. And if there are no projects due, it's just not going to do anything. You could also add a condition to that, right? If our projects dot filter for where due date is equal to today dot count is greater than 0. So saying, hey, if there are things due today, then go onward. So that is going to be your basic automations. There's a lot more you can learn about automations. Coda, we didn't even get into packs and all their integrations. We didn't even get into buttons, which are infinitely more powerful than Airtables. But hopefully this is a good view of how you can start taking your Airtable bases, moving away from their product and coming into something that is honestly a lot cheaper and a lot more flexible and a lot more powerful. Hope you liked it. If you have any questions, get in touch in the comments below. Adios.